So the other day, I saw someone post the following question to a reselling Facebook group. The person said, "Hey, listen, I'm a new reseller, and I was wondering, can people here share some tips with me for success?" And one of the responses that the person received was, "Whatever you do, don't watch any resellers on YouTube because they're only in it for the money, and the information that they provide is terrible." Now, this is a type of response that I have seen over the years in various Facebook groups. I've seen it posted on YouTube comment sections. I've seen it posted on Instagram, and fellow creators have shared with me screenshots of some of the messages that they have received from people with that theme directed towards them, often accompanied by very hateful messages. Sometimes those messages are even posted publicly to try to shame the person. So I'm here to tell you why that piece of advice is actually one of the most ridiculous and wrong pieces of advice that you could possibly give a new reseller. Now, before I go into the reasons, let me first address the money issue. A lot of people do not realize the amount of time that goes into producing the content that you see on the screen. There's a lot of retakes, there's a lot of editing, there's thumbnails that need to be made, there's all sorts of behind the scenes stuff that you have to enter to get you that final product. It really is a lot of work that goes into it. So, if you were to factor in all of that time that it takes and say, what if I took that time instead and put it into my actual reselling business and was listing more and was sourcing more and was developing more, networking relationships in my community? For the average reseller on YouTube, they're actually losing money on the platform compared to if they were doing those other things. Now, once they start off though, and they're, starting to make content, they're not making money at first from ad revenue because they're not monetized. They're not getting super chats or anything like that. So there's a lot of time that goes into it at first. And then once you finally are monetized, the average reseller on YouTube is making a few $100s a month eventually. Some of them will go on to make more than that, and some of them will do things like creating products for viewers. Some of those products can be guides. Some of those products could be courses. Some of them could be Patreon channels with additional content. Some of them could be memberships. Now, here's the issue that gets a lot of people upset. Are there some content creators that make those things that I just mentioned and they don't provide the level of value that's promised? Does that happen? Of course that happens. That happens. But that happens in any service industry. There's no need to tar and feather every single reseller on YouTube because there's a few people out there that you may feel does that or that do that. Now, there are also people who go above and beyond for those services. They provide a guide. They might charge a very low amount of money for the amount of information that's in there, or for the amount of information that's in the course, or for what you're getting for the Patreon or for the membership. Eventually, word will get out in the community and the marketplace will determine whether or not that person is going to continue to be successful offering that type of product or not. And if they continue to be successful off of that, then most likely that person is putting out a valuable product that they deserve to be financially compensated for, even though it's not them listing a mug on eBay. Who says that every reseller has to make their money by listing something on eBay, especially in the days of social media? This is a time where it's very important to get your business out there. And sometimes you could sell your products directly through your YouTube channel to viewers and to other people, to other creators, to other people who are watching. It's actually a very smart thing to do business wise. So that's the money issue right up front. Okay. That's the reality behind the scenes. But let me tell you all of the different reasons that don't have to do with the YouTuber making money that is a really important reason to direct people over to reselling YouTube channels. So, number one is the sense of community and friendship and connections that develop that would never have happened if the creator did not make that channel. Those are connections that not only the creator makes with the audience and fellow creators, but they are connections that viewers make with each other on the channel, which could then lead to really strong friendships and bonds that last a lifetime. And, there's no monetary value that you could put on all of the different friendships that I have developed with all of the people who watch this channel over the years and all the different creators that I have met all over the world. That is a really fun and exciting thing to do. Now, related to that, another reason in terms of motivations that a lot of resellers make YouTube channels is to help deal with the loneliness of reselling, especially if that's the only thing that you do full time. If you're a single parent, you're alone most of the time. So this goes back also to the first reason that I mentioned, which is that connectedness. That connectedness helps to deal with the loneliness. That's really, really an important thing. And YouTube channels serve an important goal for creators in that respect, and also for the subscribers who are home feeling lonely, especially during the pandemic. And that leads to the third reason, and this was really important over the past year, which is that it really does serve as an important distractor for people who just need something else to think about, something else to do that's related to something that they like. I can't tell you how many people have contacted me, and other creators I'm sure could vouch for this, who have told them, your channel helped me get through this pandemic because I just couldn't take it anymore, and I just needed something to watch, and I was binge watching your videos, and I was looking forward to the next one that came out. There's so many people who make YouTube channels, who are resellers, who've gotten that type of message. So it provides a valuable service to the viewers in that respect. Now, the other thing, this is number four, is that it helps develop self-confidence in a lot of creators. Don't be mistaken. There are a lot of creators who make YouTube channels, and this is not just reselling. I'm speaking just in general, but of course, reselling would be encompassed into this, that are trying to put themselves out there to develop self-confidence, because in their real life, they're maybe not really that confident. And so this gives them the opportunity to present themselves to the world and to get feedback from people and to develop speaking skills and to develop presentation skills that they can maybe then go on and use in different areas of their life, or in their career. And so that's why I always tell people, if you're watching new YouTube channels as a viewer, please do what you can to support them. That doesn't mean you can't provide constructive criticism, but not every new reseller on YouTube is going to have the perfect audio at first, the perfect display behind them. They're not going to have the fanciest graphics in their thumbnails. They're not always going to say things properly or as fluent as they will years down the road. They might not always get to the point immediately. It might take them some time to develop how to be more concise. But don't try to tear them down, because then all you're going to do is destroy their self-confidence. So build them up They need you. It's important. That praise, that verbal confidence, that verbal reinforcement that you could give to creators could be something that could make their day more than any, super chat or membership or guide that was purchased or, advertising revenue that comes in. There really is a lot of power in that for a lot of creators. Um, Another thing that is really important about reselling YouTube channels, there's a lot of them that will come behind certain causes and to help fundraise money, not only for the cause, like for animal shelters and stuff, but also will help fundraise for other resellers who are in periods of distress. That happened to several people, several resellers during COVID, and there were several channels. I participated in a few of them to help donate to resellers who were in times of needs. And without that YouTube channel, and then going back to part one, that connectedness, that community that's developed, none of those things are possible. None of those things happen. So that's really important too. Now, number 6, despite what the person said in that initial response, and yeah, of course, are there channels that sometimes say something wrong? Are there times where I've said something wrong? There's times I've said something wrong with over 800 videos. There's sometimes I've said something wrong. It's going to happen. People make mistakes, but there are so many channels that provide outstanding information, whether it's news updates, information on policy changes on eBay or whatever forum you're selling on, or be on the lookout channels. What sold videos? How many times have you as a viewer come across an item that someone talked about in one of the YouTube videos, and as a result, you picked up something you may have otherwise missed? That happens all the time. And that right there is a great reason to follow reselling YouTube channels. Now, another thing, and this kind of ties into earlier community, distraction, it also provides some fun. Like on my channel, for example, I love to provide like a little entertainment along the way, fun jokes. There's a value in making your audience laugh and being a little silly sometimes, while also providing some entertainment. A lot of these things all kind of relate into one another, being a distractor, creating fun little games, fun events that are tied around reselling. There's a lot of channels that do things like that, live listing shows, auctions, things like that are fun for people to participate in. So there's a value that's inherent in that. So remember that. Number 8, motivation and challenging people is absolutely huge. Myself, I have been inspired by many YouTubers, and I'm purposely just trying to leave channel names out of this video because I don't want anyone getting caught up in any of that stuff and any kind of drama or anything like that. I just being very general, but there have been many YouTubes I've mentioned over the years. If you watch my channel, you know I'm talking about, who have inspired me to greater and greater heights. And there are people who have watched me who have sent me messages that they've been inspired by things that I have said, whether it's getting more things listed, sourcing in new niches, starting a comic book business, whatever you want to. Some people have said, hey, listen, I got the motivation to break away from my full-time job that I hated because I was inspired by some of the stuff that I saw on your channel. And when people send messages to you like that, send letters to you, and they say, listen, you've made an impact in my life, you've made a difference, that is extremely powerful. And that's very reinforcing. And that has nothing to do with the YouTuber making money. That there's a lot of channels that have had that effect on people. So that's really important as well. A lot of inspiration that comes from the videos. The other thing is that there's a lot of help and assistance beyond just fundraising that YouTube channels have provided to viewers in the community, especially nowadays when people are having difficulty sourcing or they're nervous to go out and source still because of the pandemic. The channels have helped with that. Some channels have created lots specifically for their viewers that they've either sent out to them complimentary or sometimes have sent out to them for like a bulk wholesale rate fee, but that has helped keep people in business. So that's important. And the last thing I would say is that, at least on this channel, I try to help other sellers make money directly. There's an event I do called the Cha-Ching-a-thon, for example, in which I have sellers come up on the screen and they compete live during a live show, and they try to sell their items to someone in the chat who's watching. That's not any money that comes to me during that. That's money that comes directly to the to the people who are participating, to the viewers who get involved. So there's many reasons. Those are just some of them. I put them together into 10 there, but those are many reasons why it's important to direct new resellers over to YouTube channels, because it really could be immensely helpful for them and help them really grow. So feel free to share, as a viewer, reasons why you found YouTube channels helpful to you, maybe some things that I didn't mention, or piggyback on some things that I mentioned, give some examples. Feel free to mention other channels down below. That's totally fine. Don't care at all about that. If this channel has affected you in some way, in a positive way, hopefully, feel free to put that down too. Make sure you share this video with others, especially new resellers and new content creators, because I want to support them as much as possible. New content creators who are watching this, if you feel that you're getting torn down by some of those comments that you hear, best thing I could tell you is to just ignore them and just keep working on trying to get better, and be persistent, and just keep developing your craft, and hopefully eventually you'll get to the place that you want to be, and provide the service and the value that your viewers will appreciate. So with that, everyone, I am going to sign off for now. Remember, come by tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have Chris on from Crispy's Toys and Treasures. We're going to talk about making big money by selling Legos. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So come on by to that one, and I'll see you there. Take care, everyone.